Okay, here we go then. The last race of the day, it's all to play for. Race 2, it all comes down to the next 14 laps. And away they go. Now, and there's Darren spinning out as well. Darren, there's contact there, push Kieran wide. Oh, but he's gone off. What's going on? Shane's also there in the BMW. Oh, nearly loses it. Kieran's going to have to slow down. No, he's gone too much. It's Josh here, and he is leading. This is fantastic for Josh. Oh, a bit of a love tap. And Josh, oh my God, who's going to take it? I think it's Darren. I think it's going to be Rob. Rob gets it. He's actually on the grass. This isn't good for Tom. And he's made the move. Look at that. Through Eau Rouge. Oh, that's Mike. Mike's gone off. Oh, Craig sideways. Big time. Is it going to be enough? No, Sam takes it and takes the title ahead of Tom. Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the FeckWrest Online Touring Car Championship. My name is Tom and I will be your commentator as always. Season 2 has seen entries from roughly 13 cars across 3 teams, and the rest will be independents. Looking at the season ahead, this is the first season which will be running a full 10 race calendar, starting at the media day at Brands Hatch, followed by Monza, Nürburgring, Laguna Seca, Dragon Trail, Red Bull Ring, Catalunya in Spain, Goodwood Circuit, Barfest, Spa and Brands Hatch GP for the final. Let's have a look at the entries then for the season, with hopefully more rumored to come later on in the series. Team Parker Racing then are the first entries into the teams. They return as the team's champions from season 1. They return in the Renault Megane as always, with Sam and Darren Parker both running those to retain the title, and also the driver's title. Sam Parker is going to be trying to retain that too. K-Tech Racing, of course, return in the 2 Subaru WRXs with Tom and Kieran. These two are hopefully heading for teams champions, as well as Tom trying to go for the title in the drivers after missing out by merely 2 points at the Brands final from season 1. A brand new team then, run by Craig Kellett and Rob Pellet, teaming up after season 1, will run a pair of Nissan GTRs under the Elite Racing banner, and Craig hopefully trying to continue with his success from season 1 in the Ford Mustang, and has switched to this Nissan, hoping to actually go for the teams and drivers title too. In the independents then, of course, the title returnee is Josh Hardy, running in the very familiar liveried Renault Megane, unchanged from last season, hoping to continue with his success and ultimately hoping to get his first win and to get another title under his name. Another returnee is Mark Nicol in the Renault Megane, and Mark is hoping to continue from his consistent runs from the 2 races he did last season, and runs in a fantastic new Red Bull backed liveried Renault Megane. New entries then, we have James Dawson, who has decided to run a BMW M4, and in actual fact is the only BMW M4 in the grid, after Shane McMahon has decided to switch to a Subaru. Harry Cook will be running Another Nissan GTR. The Nissan's proving to be popular for this season. Harry, another new name, and we'll hopefully get the ball rolling well for the first race at Monza in his very bright orange Nissan. Mike Kuipers returns and has also decided to switch to the Nissan GTR and has gone for a much brighter light blue Jeremy Clarkson inspired theme for his livery. Lastly, we have Shane McMahon, who has decided to switch to the Subaru and has a very bright orange and yellow livery. Also returning will be Gary Black, who has rumoured to be switching to the Lexus RCF from the Subaru, but unfortunately Gary was unable to make the first media day, but we'll see him at Monza. Let's look at the entry list then for the first round here at Monza. Of course, we have the three teams all entering with their two cars. Elliott Racing, K-Tech Racing and Parker Racing were all to be entered into the race. In the independents, Harry Cook, Mark Nicol, Josh Hardy and Mike Kuipers were all there, but unfortunately the rest weren't. It was only a 10-car entry list with Shane, James and of course Gary unable to make the first race at Monza. The qualifying went ahead and Craig Kellett made pole position yet again, like season 1 for the first round here at Monza. So will he repeat history and win the first race? Let's have a look. We get the season underway with the first grid here at Monza. Craig Kellett on pole position on the front row of the grid with Darren Parker for Team Parker Racing in the Renault Megane. On row 2 we've got the second Parker Racing Renault Meganes of Sam Parker, and we've got the other Renault Megane of Mark Nicol. On the third row of the grid we've got Independence champion Josh Hardy in the Renault Megane, and we've got Nissan GTR Mike Kuipers. In row 4 we've got the K-Tech Racing of Tom Foster, and we've got Harry Cook in the Nissan GTR, and on the back row of the grid on his own is Rob Pellet in the Elliott Racing Nissan GTR. Okay, season 2 is literally just about to get underway. Craig Kellett is on the front row of the grids in the new Nissan GTR for the new Elliott Racing team, and away they go, and it's a great start for Craig. Everyone else follows on quite well behind. A much smaller grid for this first race, but plenty of action hopefully for the next 20 minutes. Craig making a great start with Sam holding second, and there's Mark Nicol, who's made a great start and already put himself into a podium position in third, with Tom making up some space further up, and already we've got a bit of a battle here mid-pack. Tom, Rob Pellet in that Nissan, who's gone from the back of the grid already up to 5th. On for Tom. On the back of the nose Nissans there it says do not overtake, a very bold statement. And that looks like Josh is on the outside as well. This is close for three-way into the chicane, and it looks like Tom's got into the gravel. Tom is in the gravel, so that's a bad mistake already from the runner-up from season 1, and it's put him down to the back of the grid behind Harry Cook. So Tom already needs to work hard to get back up the grid. At the front we've already got a fight here between Craig and Sam, so Sam is pushing and he's on the inside for the next corner, and it looks like Sam's going to take the lead of the race, and he does. On board with Craig for the first chicane, and he's on the grass. Oh, he's just about managed to get it under control. It could have been game over for Craig going into that first chicane. Listen to the engine out Nissan. The Nissan is four-wheel drive and handles like it's on rails, according to the guys who've decided to switch to it. Craig's back in the lead then. Further down, we're on board with Darren, just behind Mark here. And Mark's in the gravel, and that's it's allowed Darren to get behind him, but he wasn't able to get past, and a little bit of contact, but Mark is already making a great statement by showing his intentions early on with his third position. Mark last season was also in the Renault, so he's got himself the mileage he needs to practice and get used to the car, so he's now able to race a little bit harder for higher positions. On board with Rob. This is good for Rob, and he seemed quite confident and excited with the fact he's got the Nissan after running a slightly underpowered Hyundai Genesis in season 1 on his own in the Independent. So Rob and Craig teamed up after Craig Hodgson exited, and they decided to scrap the Ford Mustangs and go with the brand new Nissan. Already Rob is showing great potential, and is just behind Mike also in another Nissan. Oh, that's an off, and that is Josh Hardy, and that was Harry Cook as well. So I'm not entirely sure what happened. Tom's gone ahead of them, so Tom's up to 7th position, and Harry is now in 8th ahead of Josh. And we'll have a little look at the replay to see what happened there, because unfortunately we didn't quite catch it, but I'm sure we're able to get another replay and find out what happened. Let's have a little look. Let's have a look at Josh and Harry then in this incident as they go into the chicane. It looks like Josh has just run wide. Unfortunately, Harry's gone into the back, and Harry goes into him a second time as Josh comes back onto the track. On board with Harry, let's see how he saw it. Yeah, Josh goes wide and he tries to recorrect himself. Harry follows him into the gravel. Contact twice there. So Harry's still getting to grips with this Nissan, and unfortunately had to follow in Josh into the corner. So it was just simply a mistake by Josh, who at the moment is looking to be having a tough fight against the independents this season, with the likes of Mark and Mike in those further up positions. So he's got his work cut out. Back in the lead then, and the Renaults have got ahead of the Nissan of Craig. So both Sam and Darren now are in the lead. Maybe Craig is still getting to grips with his Nissan, whereas Sam and Darren have had the first season under their belt, especially here at Monza where they've already raced. And there's a tussle behind. Mark is looking to get ahead and take advantage here as well. So this is a great battle for literally the lead. It's the top 5 are very close together, the top 6 almost, with Rob quite close behind as well. And Craig runs a little deep, and allows Darren to get ahead there. Further, there's Mike going a little bit wide in the gravel in the background. Let's go on board with Mike. Mike was only able to make a couple of races last season, but hopefully he has said he can make majority of the races to put the fight up against Josh for the Independence title. And at the moment Josh is struggling at the back in his Renault after a small mistake. This is fantastic close racing between the two Renaults and Craig in the Nissan. So Craig has actually managed to get a good power boost up behind Sam here after Sam just loses the back end, but I think he's had to hold back, but he's on the inside. Look at this, all the clean racing between the top five. This is great for the first race, and you can see Tom in the background, who appears to be not so far up and is only mid-pack in 7th, so Tom isn't quite making the start that he needed to take the fight to Sam for the title. But as always, it's early days, plenty of racing, plenty of laps, and of course 10 races, so it could all change at any point. And Craig now on the inside of Sam, and Craig takes the lead back, so Craig is leading yet again ahead of the two Renaults of the Parker Racing brothers in their striking new black livery with the usual aqua and the purple. Sam has the gold looking wing and the stripe, and Darren has the purple wing and the stripe. And there's Mark Nicol trying to make a dive on the inside of the exit of the chicane, and unfortunately it didn't quite work out. On board with Craig again, and there is Sam ahead. Into the second chicane, and Mark is really pushing, and he's got past Darren, so Darren now down into 4th with Mark up into 3rd. There's Mike, and there is Rob, so the top 6 having a great battle, and here's Tom, who is actually on his own at the moment, and most probably due to the fact he was off on the gravel early on, is unable to catch up, so he'll get some points in 7th, but it's not going to be a great start. On board with Mark as we go round the final bend and head on to lap 7 of 12. And as you can see ahead, there is Craig in the Nissan, who's literally at the back end of Sam and has got to the inside, so Craig's got the advantage, but he's held back, and Marcus, he's got away with that. It looked like he maybe just outbraked himself just a little bit, but he did well to hold on there. Lap 7 then, and this race at the front continues to rage on, and Sam Parker continues to lead as the positions are changing lap in, lap out between the top 3, the top 4, the top 5. And the two independents of Mike and Mark will be buoyed with the ability to stay up ahead with the teams. There is Darren running slightly wide, so that's allowed Mike then to make a push to go on the outside into the final turn, and it looks like he might get it past him, but I don't think so. No, and so Mike's on the outside then. He's going to have to stay on the outside. Darren's not letting him past, and it looks like, yeah, Mike's going to have to stay behind, and he's going to take the slipstream. On to lap 8, into the first chicane, and Craig has just got past Sam. Craig Kellett leads again, so the Nissan is back in the lead yet again. On board with Sam, and Sam goes on the inside into the second chicane, over the curbs. And he's ahead of Sam. He's ahead of Craig again. So Sam back in the lead, but Craig isn't going to let him get too far ahead as Craig goes on the inside. Craig's back in the lead. Sam's back on the inside of Craig, back in the lead again. So that's actually a bit of contact there from Mark. So that's actually allowed Sam to go ahead, and it looks like Mark might have slowed down to allow Sam to go back past, but in actual fact it's put them all together into one corner, so there's almost 5 cars into one corner. This is unbelievable. So Sam is now behind Mark, who is in second. This is fantastic for Mark. Yeah, I think Mark has slowed down to allow those guys to go past after that incident, which is good for Mark. As much as he was in the lead, he has decided to hold back and give the position back, so no penalties will be given for that. Back on with Craig and Sam then for the lead. So Mark, has unfortunately fallen down to 5th because of that incident. He's decided to hold back, so that's allowed Mike to get ahead, but I'm sure he'll be able to get. And as you can see, the exit for Mark was really strong, so he's on the inside of Mike going into the next turn, but he's in the gravel. You can really see he's pushing for this first race, but he really wants it. Rob's still holding 6th. It's fallen a little bit behind the pack, unfortunately, but still doing very well. I think this will boost his confidence in the new Nissan GTR. And Tom is going to take the points, as we said, looking like it, but I think he'll be frustrated with his first race if things stay as they are. Further down, Henry Cook, this is his debut, and in 8th, so again taking points, and just being at the race will get him points, whereas other independents, if they're not there, they don't get any points. So this is good for Harry. Almost a bit of a testing session for him. I think the biggest story of the day so far is Josh Hardy right at the back after his mistake, and lots of work to do, but as we said before, plenty of races, so I think he'll want to make up for the mistake he made in race 2 and 3. So the lead of the race is now in the hands of Darren Parker ahead of Sam. So this is now great for Team Parker Racing for a potential 1-2. Craig has fallen further down to 3rd, so but he's not fallen too far behind. And there's Mark going on in the background again, and maybe that small incident has just kind of ruined his routine a little bit. It's kind of stopped him in his tracks a little bit. On board with Sam, and as you can see at Monza, the slipstream is really important, really powerful, hence why you get all the overtaking, but it proves to be great racing. So Sam now in the lead, but Darren is on the outside. The two Renaults come side by side down the start-finish straight, with Craig just behind onto lap 11. This is penultimate lap of the first race. Cool. That's Sam now in the lead, and Mike is on the back end of Craig now. So Mike has gone into 3rd. This is fantastic for Mike as well. Mike had already gained some podium positions in the first season, so he knows how it is to race up here against the big boys. Oh, there's contact there, some contact there. That'll be interesting to look at. So Mark is hoping to make up some positions, but since that incident, he's not quite been in the same manner of fighting for positions. As Mike goes wide into the gravel, maybe Mark has decided to hold off and just take a good 5th for race 1 before he makes too many mistakes and ruins his race completely, and then take the fight into race 2. But he could go into 4th down this straight and into the first chicane, and the slipstream is looking strong. He's on the inside of Mike, brakes hard, and it looks like he's got him. And I think he's got him, but further up, this is Craig just behind Darren, and Sam is still leading. So Sam could take a win literally after the win at the final Brands, and get the maximum 20 points for the win to start his title fight for season 2. Oh, those Renaults looking a little bit loose, a little bit edgy. This first race has been fantastic up the front. Been a real close battle between the two Renaults and Craig, with Mike and Mark at further back, really pushing the independents. And this is going to be the last chance for Craig to really dive in and get the maximum points. Can he take the win? Is he going to settle for 3rd, or is he going to go for a 2nd? And it looks like Darren wants to go for the win. He's on the back end of Sam. It's going to be close. As they cross the line, it's Darren. So Darren takes the win, and it could be down to penalties given. So Darren takes the win. Craig comes in 2nd. Sam is 3rd. Mike will come 4th, Mark will come 5th, Tom takes 6th ahead of Rob, so Rob must have made a mistake, unfortunately. Harry will come in 8th position, and Josh here will take 9th, which is points, but not the start he wanted. So the results for race 1 then: Darren takes the win ahead of Craig. Sam will take the last podium position ahead of Mike. Mark in 5th. Tom took 6th. Rob took 7th. Harry took 8th, and Josh took the back of the grid in 9th. Looking at the points for the season then, so Darren obviously will take 21 points. Craig is second with 18 after getting the pole position. Sam will be 15, Mike 13, 11 for Mark. Tom's got 10, Rob with 9, Harry with 8, and Josh has got 7. Looking at the teams for the first race, Parker will take the lead with 35. Elliot Racing, take second with 28, and K-Tech will only have 13 after Kieran unfortunately misses the first race. Into the independents, Mike will take the lead with 20 points, Mark will have 17, Harry's got 15, and Josh will have 13.